Hi, this is the third and final video in the series for solving example sums for treatment of goodwill at the time of admission of a partner. In this video, we will be solving example sums when incoming partner is unable to bring in premium for goodwill. This is the sixth method, and we will be solving example sums in this method. Let's go to the first example. Example 1. A and B, who share profits in the ratio of 3:2, had capitals of rupees 2 lakh and rupees 1,50,000 respectively. They admit C into partnership from 1st April 2019 on the following terms for 1/3 share in the profits. C is to bring in rupees 2 lakh as capital. C is unable to bring in his share of goodwill. The goodwill of the firm is valued at rupees 1,50,000. Pass necessary journal entries in the books of the firm. Working notes. Let's calculate C share of goodwill. C share of goodwill is equal to firm's goodwill multiplied by C share. So it's 1,50,000 rupees multiplied by C shares 1/3 comes up to rupees 50,000. Let's write the journal entries. Solution. Date, particulars, LF number, debit rupees and credit rupees. The date of admission of C, it's 1st April 2019. We'll write the first journal entry for C bringing in rupees 2 lakh as capital. C does not bring in premium for goodwill in cash. So we will write only for capital brought in. Bank account debit to C capital account. Capital brought in by C rupees 2 lakh and cash received by the firm is also rupees 2 lakh. Narration. Being capital brought in by partner C. Same date, the next journal entry. C share of goodwill rupees 50,000, but he does not bring in his share of goodwill. So we will debit C's current account with his share of goodwill, which is 50,000 rupees. And we need to distribute or adjust this goodwill amount against the sacrificing partners in their sacrificing ratio. The sacrificing partners are A and B, and the sacrificing ratio, since there is nothing else specified, is equal to the old ratio. So SR is equal to OR, which is equal to 3:2. So C's current account has been debited with 50,000, which is his share of goodwill, to A capital account. We are assuming the fluctuating capital method, to B capital account. Against A we will write 30,000 and against B we will write 20,000, being goodwill adjusted on C's admission. So these are the journal entries to be passed when the incoming partner is unable to bring in his share of goodwill premium. Let's go to the next example. Example 2. A, B and C are in partnership, sharing profits in the ratio of 5:4:1. Two partners, D and E, are admitted. Profits are to be shared in the ratio of 3:4:2:2:1 respectively. D is to pay rupees 30,000 for his share of goodwill, but E is unable to pay for goodwill. Both the new partners introduced rupees 40,000 each as their capital. Pass necessary journal entries. So we'll begin with the working notes. Let's find out the goodwill of the firm. Goodwill of the firm, it's given that D is to pay rupees 30,000 for his share of goodwill. So we can get the goodwill of the firm by taking Z's share of goodwill multiplied by the reciprocal of D's share in profit, which is equal to rupees 30,000 multiplied by divided by 2, which is equal to rupees 1,80,000. Let's do old share minus new share. For partner A, 5/10 old share minus 3/12 new share. Positive 15 divided by 60, A sacrifices. For B, 4 divided by 10 old share minus 4 divided by 12 new share. Positive 4 divided by 60, B also sacrifices. For partner C, 1 divided by 10 minus new share 2 divided by 12, negative 4 divided by 60, and C gains. For E, he gains 1 divided by 12. Now we multiply each of these sacrifices and gains into the goodwill of the firm to get the amount to be debited and the amount to be credited. 45,000 rupees against A, 12,000 rupees against B, 12,000 rupees against C, and 15,000 rupees against E. So let's solve the problem. Solution. Date, particulars, LF number, debit rupees, and credit rupees. We'll write the first journal entry for cash received by the firm. Bank account debit to D's capital account D brings in 40,000 as his capital to E's capital account. E also brings in rupees 40,000 as his capital, and 2 premium for goodwill. Premium for goodwill is brought in only by partner D, and he brings in premium for goodwill of rupees 30,000. So total cash received by the firm rupees 1,10,000, being capital brought in by D and partner E, and premium for goodwill brought in by partner D. Let's write the second journal entry. We'll debit the premium for goodwill. This is a premium for goodwill which is brought in by partner D. E does not bring in premium for goodwill, so we'll need to debit his current account since he is a new partner. So we've got the answer here. We've taken his gain, which is 1 by 12, and multiplied it into the goodwill of the firm, rupees 1,80,000. So we need to debit E's current account with rupees 15,000. There is a partner, existing partner C, who gains 4 divided by 60. So we need to debit C, but we will debit C's capital account because he is an existing partner. His gain 4 by 60 multiplied by the goodwill of the firm 1,80,000. We have to debit C, the gaining partner, by rupees 12,000. To A capital account. A sacrifices 15 divided by 60 multiplied by the goodwill of the firm, rupees 1,80,000. We need to credit A by 45,000. And to B capital account. B sacrifices 4 divided by 60, multiplied it into the goodwill of the firm 1,80,000. We get B to B has to be credited by rupees 12,000. Narration being goodwill adjusted on admission of partner D and partner E. So this sum was slightly different. There were two partners who were admitted into the firm, D and E. D bought in both capital and premium for goodwill, whereas E brings in only his share of capital and does not bring in premium for goodwill. Using D's share of goodwill, we were able to find out that the goodwill of the firm was 1,80,000, and we got the amount for which the other partners has to be debited or credited in the second entry by multiplying the gain or sacrifice into the goodwill of the firm. Let's go to the third example. Example 3. A and B are partners in a firm, sharing profits and losses in the proportion of 3/4 and 1/4 respectively. On 1st April 2019, they take C into partnership for 1/5 share of profits. C acquires a share from A and B in the ratio of 2:1. Value of goodwill is determined at rupees 24,000. At present, C is not in a position to bring amount towards goodwill. Give necessary journal entries when the goodwill account appears at rupees 10,000 in the books of the firm. Let's calculate C's share of goodwill. Working notes. C's share of goodwill is equal to goodwill of firm multiplied by C share. This is equal to 24,000 rupees goodwill of the firm multiplied by 1 divided by 5, which is C share. 4,800 rupees. Also, the sacrificing ratio between A and B. It's given that C acquires his share from A and B in the ratio of 2:1. So the sacrificing ratio between A and B is 2:1. So let's go ahead with the journal entries. Solution. Date, particulars, LF number, debit rupees and credit rupees. The date of admission of C is 1st April 2019. We'll first write off the existing goodwill. It says here that goodwill account appears in the books at rupees 10,000. So we need to write off this goodwill among the old partners A and B in their OPSR, which is 3:1. So we have A capital account debit, B capital account debit, to goodwill account. Amount of existing goodwill is rupees 10,000 and 10,000 to be written off in OPSR, which is 3:1. It's 7,500 against A and 2,500 rupees against B. Narration being existing goodwill written off. Next journal entry. Same date, 1st April 2019. for the goodwill adjustment on C's admission. So we have C's current account, debit. C share of goodwill is rupees 4,800 to A capital account, to B capital account. The sacrificing ratio 2:1. So 4,800 adjusted in sacrificing partner's capital account in sacrificing ratio. So that's 1,600 against B and 3,200 against A. Narration being goodwill adjusted on C's admission. So since goodwill already appears in the books as 10,000, we began by writing off the existing goodwill among the old partners in their old profit sharing ratio, which is 3:1. And since C did not bring in his share of goodwill of rupees 4,800, we adjusted it among the sacrificing partners in their sacrificing ratio, which is 2:1.